Okay, so they want us to find the exact value of the trigonometric functions of pi over 3 using side lengths. Okay, so I'm going to show you how I would do it. It's probably a little bit different than in the book, but that's okay. So pi over 3, I'm thinking, okay, I know that's 60 degrees. Maybe I would think that. Maybe I wouldn't. All right, so I know I have two triangles. I have the 30-60 triangle and I have the 45-degree triangle. So I need the 30-60 triangle. There's a lot of triangle drawing in trigonometry. So I would just draw a triangle that kind of looked like, all right, this is 30 degrees down here and 60 degrees up here. But really, I'm going to use pi over 3. So my pi over 3 is up here. Okay. And then what's the one thing I try to remember? The sine of 30 is 1/2. So when I go to make my triangle, and I want to use the side lengths, I'm going to use this as a 1 and this as a 2. Now, you might say, hey, you didn't put 1s and 2s. Yeah, that's true, but what am I going to do? I'm going to be doing ratios. It's always going to be one side over the other. So the s's are always going to cancel. So you might have noticed that in the last video, the s's were always canceling. So in a practical sense, when I make my triangle, I just label it 1 for the opposite of 30 and 2 for the hypotenuse, okay? Now, let's say I couldn't remember the other side. You could use the Pythagorean theorem, right? 1 squared plus x squared equals 2 squared. Call this x for a minute temporarily. Say you couldn't remember it, So 1 plus x squared equals 4. So x squared equals 3. So x equals the square root of 3. Okay. Then I have my triangle labeled. Once I know all three sides of a triangle, if I can remember those ratios, I'll know all the trigonometric functions. Okay? All right. So that's what I would do. I would draw out a triangle. If I got stuck or it'd been a while since I'd done trigonometry, I'd draw it out and then I'd label those signs that way, or those sides that way. All right, now we're going to be using the pi over 3, so we're going to be using this angle up here. And we want to do sine of pi over 3, cosine of pi over 3, tangent of pi over 3, secant of pi over 3, cosecant of pi over 3, and let me scroll this up just a little bit, get tangent, cotangent on there, cotangent of pi over 3. All right. So we know the sides, and now all we have to do is use our triangle. So this, we're doing pi over 3, so this is the opposite side, this is the adjacent side, and this is the hypotenuse. Now, if we'd been doing the 30-degree angle, or pi over 6, then you'd have to relabel those, but we're not. We're just doing pi over 3. All right, so sine is opposite over hypotenuse, square root of 3 over 2. Cosine is adjacent over hypotenuse, so 1/2. Tangent is, you can either think of it as sine over cosine, or you can think of it as opposite over adjacent. So it's the square root of 3 over 1, but we're just going to make that the square root of 3. And then secant. Now, I wouldn't even go to the triangle. I'd use the reciprocals. Secant's the reciprocal of cosine, so that's going to be 2. Cosecant's the reciprocal of sine. That's going to be 2 over the square root of 3, but remember you have to rationalize that. So 2 times the square root of 3 over 3. And then cotangent is going to be the reciprocal of tangent, which is 1 over the square root of 3, but again we have to rationalize that. Square root of 3 over 3. Now, if these seem familiar to you, yes, they're special angles, and so we've seen these numbers, these values before. Okay? So it'll get easier the more we use them. It's a lot to remember at first, but keep working on it, keep trying. I would draw triangles for a long time just to get, the sides, and then I would do the ratios. Okay.